Welcome back. You're watching Breakfast. Well, there's a lot of concern at the moment over the Great Barrier Reef and whether or not it's being used as a dumping ground. Larissa Waters is a Green senator who met with UNESCO last night amid these concerns. Now, Larissa, the idea is UNESCO might slap it with a heritage listing ban to make it endangered, or they might take it off. Which one's worse?
Oh, look, they're both pretty bad. I mean, the Great Barrier Reef is not just iconic environmentally, but it actually brings in a lot of money for us. It's about $6 billion every year in tourism. And if we've got this international spotlight on how poorly it's being managed, and if that body says, oh, it's World Heritage in danger, or, gee, it's so badly managed it shouldn't be World Heritage at all anymore, that would just devastate the tourism income. OK, so why is UNESCO looking at this? There's a lot of coal expansion and shipping routes that's going through the area. Why is it in the spotlight for them? Well, look, originally there's this massive dredging program in Gladstone Harbour in Queensland, which is part of the World Heritage Area. The government conveniently forgot to tell UNESCO about this absolutely massive dredging program.
How could that happen?
Well, it's pretty big. It's not like you could miss it. We've seen dead turtles, dead dugongs, diseased fish. I mean, it's an ecological disaster unfolding in the harbour. The government thought they needn't tell UNESCO about that, so a bit of a problem there. So UNESCO's now come out to investigate, but they've realised that it's not just Gladstone. There's actually plans for coal and coal seam gas ports right up and down the coast. So they're now concerned that effectively we're turning our reef into a marine dumping ground and into a coal and gas highway, and we share those concerns.
Larissa, you met with them last night. What was the feeling you got from them? Which way is it going? Is it going to be good or a bad outcome for us?
Look, I was very encouraged. The two representatives I spoke with were concerned at the pace of development and concerned at the impacts on the reef, and also worried that the government's response is being a bit tricky. The government said that they're actually not going to include any of the current proposals in their so-called comprehensive assessment of what's going on in the reef, which is, you know, a bit convenient. You can't claim something's comprehensive and then not look at the main threats. So I was encouraged that that seems to be the direction they're heading in. I think they'll recommend that all of these ports that are now currently proposed should in fact be considered as part of that overall look at what's going on in the reef.
Isn't there an assumption here, though, that it is poorly managed? Do we actually know that it's poorly managed?
Well, look, we've made some improvements in water quality over the years, but we've just seen in the last 2 to 3 years this huge boom in fossil fuel export. So we've got now, I think there's 3 existing ports, but there's plans for 6 more. So it's just
But we don't necessarily know that just because there's plans for 6 more, we don't necessarily know that the area can't sustain that. We don't know that water quality won't continue to improve, do we?
Well, that's the thing, we don't know. And that's why we should do an assessment of what the reef can handle before we rush ahead and approve these ports willy-nilly. So that's a good point.
Larissa Waters, thank you very much.
My
we'll
pleasure.
have you on again. Thank you.
Something we will be keeping an eye on, I'm sure.
And we will keep an eye on it, you know, and people will keep an eye on it.
But I think people are going to be outraged if they hear that.
People are easily outraged.
That we're dumping silt and sand out on the Great Barrier Reef as long as it's not managed. I mean, you and I both dived there.
It's because of the way you're saying it, though. If people knew that we were just putting some silt in an area...
My concern is the conflict of interest, because obviously that putting of silt, the government gets money from that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
they pay, what, $15 per cubic metre?
In this. Anyway, Joe Hill probably doesn't know anything about what we're chatting about right now. He's